Eren Yeager killed 80% of humanity because he thought the rumbling was the only way to save Paradise Island. But what if he just talked to his friends instead of keeping secrets for 4 years? One honest conversation, after kissing Historia's hand, could have prevented the entire genocide while still protecting Paradise from the world. Today we're breaking down the alternate timeline where Eren doesn't become a mass murderer. And honestly, this version makes way more sense than what we actually got. Keep watching to find out how a defensive rumbling would have worked, and why the world would have actually backed off instead of attacking. Section 1. The Divergence. The biggest mistake Eren makes in Attack on Titan happens at the medal ceremony in year 850. He kisses Historia's hand, gets flooded with future memories showing him genociding the planet, and decides to keep it all secret. That decision alone sets up 4 years of lies, manipulation, and eventually the death of billions. This timeline fixes that mistake. Right after seeing those memories, Eren calls an emergency meeting with the Survey Corps leadership and tells them everything. The rumbling, the future he saw, the founding Titan's power to flatten the world with millions of colossal Titans. He admits he saw himself doing it and hated every second of that vision. Armin obviously freaks out. Hanji thinks he's having some kind of mental break from the weight of the founding Titan. Levi's probably 2 seconds away from punching him. But then Eren says something that changes everything. I saw myself push all of you away and do this alone. I don't want that. Help me find a different path. That's the key difference. Canon Eren isolated himself because he thought he had to shoulder everything alone. This version realizes isolation is exactly what leads to the nightmare future he witnessed. The Survey Corps spends the next 4 years actually working together instead of fighting internal conflicts. Just unified strategy sessions on how to protect Paradis without committing genocide. They develop Operation Deterrent. The concept is straightforward. Prove to the world that Paradis can end everything but chooses not to unless attacked. Nuclear deterrence, except with giant footsteps instead of missiles. The goal is to make everyone too terrified to attack in the first place. But there's a huge complication they have to work around. Eren needs Zeke to activate the founding Titan's full abilities. Touching Historia only unlocks memories from previous founding Titan holders, which is useful for information, but doesn't grant access to the coordinate. The founding Titan's true power requires contact with a royal-blooded Titan shifter, and Zeke is the only one who fits that description. His Beast Titan, combined with his royal blood, creates the specific conditions that trick Ymir into thinking she's receiving commands from a royal founding Titan. When Yelena arrives on Paradis as Zeke's representative, she explains his plan to sterilize all Eldians through the founding Titan's power. Zeke genuinely believes ending the Eldian race is the compassionate solution to their suffering. The Survey Corps obviously find this plan absolutely disgusting, but they can't just reject it outright because they need Zeke's cooperation, so they lie. They pretend to consider his proposal, while secretly planning to use him as the key to unlock the founding Titan for their own deterrence strategy. Eren specifically has to play along with Zeke's plan, which means acting like he agrees with sterilizing his own people. This is brutal for him because he fundamentally opposes everything Zeke stands for, but the alternative is having no way to access the founding Titan's full power. The difference from canon is that everyone knows Eren's faking it. His friends understand he's performing for Zeke's benefit, not actually going rogue. Over the 4-year time skip, Paradis makes serious technological progress thanks to the knowledge in Grisha's books and the limited cooperation with Hizuru. They develop better weapons, improve their infrastructure, and most importantly, they prepare for the infiltration of Marley. The Survey Corps knows from Eren's memories that in year 854, Marley's leadership will gather at Liberio for a festival where Willy Tybur declares war on Paradise Island. That gathering becomes their target. The plan they finalize goes like this. Send a team to infiltrate Marley during the festival. Eliminate Marley's top military leadership and the Tybur family in one strike. Extract Zeke without him knowing they're betraying his sterilization plan. And then demonstrate the rumbling's power in a controlled way that destroys Marley's military capability without massacring civilians. This is where things get controversial. Even in this better timeline, thousands of people are going to die in Liberio. Eren still has to transform and start the attack. The Survey Corps still has to fight the other Titan shifters. Armin still has to blow up the harbor with his colossal Titan. The difference is intent and scale. They're targeting military infrastructure and leadership during an active declaration of war, not flattening residential districts for maximum terror. Sasha survives in this timeline because the operation is coordinated from the start, instead of Eren forcing everyone's hand by going rogue. They plan extraction routes properly, they have backup strategies, and they're not scrambling to save Eren from his own reckless decisions. If you're enjoying the video so far, subscribe to our channel. Section 2. The Demonstration. The Liberio attack goes down almost exactly like canon, just coordinated from the start. Eren transforms during Willy Tyburn's speech and crushes him along with Marley's military high command. The Survey Corps swoops in with thunder spears. Armin nukes the harbor. They extract Zeke and everyone survives because they actually planned the escape routes properly. Marley's leadership is decimated, and their navy is destroyed. But the rest of the world doesn't see a successful military strike. They see confirmation that Paradis is exactly the threat they always feared. Every nation at that festival goes home terrified. Within a year, the Global Alliance forms anyway. Marley might be wounded, but dozens of other nations have militaries too. They pool resources, build a massive fleet with hundreds of thousands of soldiers, and sail for Paradis to eliminate the founding Titan before Eren can use it. This is what Operation Deterrent was designed for. When the fleet gets within range, Eren makes contact with Zeke and activates the founding Titan. The walls crumble as millions of colossal Titans step out and march toward the coasts. The ground shakes violently. The sound is deafening, but Eren doesn't send them toward enemy continents, he marches them straight into the ocean. The Titans wade into the water, creating a living wall between Paradis and the invasion fleet. When ships get close, the Titans just walk through them. Wooden hulls shatter, metal warships crumple, steam from their bodies boils the surrounding ocean. Thousands of soldiers die in minutes as their fleet is destroyed by Titans that won't stop advancing. Some ships manage to retreat, most don't. The Titans form a perimeter around Paradis, standing in the ocean like watchtowers. They don't advance toward enemy territory, they just stand there as a clear message about where the line is. Then, Eren stops the rumbling. That's the critical part. The world just watched Paradis choose restraint when they could have chosen extinction. Eren proved he can activate the rumbling, kill tens of thousands instantly, and stop whenever he wants. All three facts matter equally. Armin broadcasts globally, using captured Marleyan radio technology. Paradis possesses the power to end all life outside our shores. We just demonstrated it. We also demonstrated we'll only use it defensively. Attack us again and the Titans won't stop at your coastlines. Leave us alone and we'll leave you alone. The political fallout is chaotic. Some nations want to attack anyway out of hatred. Others argue that attacking guarantees their own destruction. But the math is simple. Whoever attacks Paradis first gets flattened, and nobody wants to be that sacrifice. Reiner becomes the unexpected key to lasting peace. He's been watching from Marley, and something breaks inside him. His entire identity was built on Paradis being evil, on island devils destroying the world if given the chance. But Eren just had that chance and stopped. Reiner can't ignore that. He starts secretly communicating with Paradis. Nobody trusts him at first, because he's the armored Titan who broke Wall Maria and killed thousands. But Reiner provides intelligence on Marley's remaining military, information on other nations' invasion plans, and becomes living proof to Marleyans that Paradis showed restraint when genocide was easier. Annie and Piek eventually join him. The three warriors become a bridge between Paradis and the outside world. Most Marleyans still hate Eldians. Most nations still fear Paradis. But fear creates a stalemate, and stalemates create space for diplomacy. Hizuru positions itself as the mediator and negotiates trade deals. Paradis offers limited iceburst stone technology in exchange for recognition as a sovereign nation. Other countries previously threatened by Marley's imperialism quietly reach out with non-aggression pacts. The world doesn't unite in harmony, they unite in fear. But honestly, expecting everyone to stop hating Eldians after 2,000 years of propaganda was never realistic anyway. Cold War-style deterrence works because nobody wants to trigger the apocalypse. Paradis becomes the nation that's too dangerous to attack but stable enough to do business with. Tense coexistence beats genocide, and that's the whole point. Section 3. The Resolution. Ymir Fritz is the biggest problem in this timeline. In canon, she only breaks free from King Fritz's will when she watches Mikasa kill Eren despite loving him. That sacrifice, choosing humanity over personal love, finally convinces Ymir she can make the same choice after 2,000 years. But Mikasa never kills Eren in this version. So how does Ymir get freed? The answer happens during the defensive rumbling. When Eren connects with Ymir in the paths to activate the Wall Titans, he does something no other founding Titan holder has ever done. He doesn't command her. He shows her his memories from the medal ceremony, the moment he saw the genocidal future, and rejected it by trusting his friends. He shows her activating the rumbling, but stopping at Paradise's shores when continuing would have been easier. Eren speaks to her directly. You've been serving the royal family for 2,000 years because you loved King Fritz. But you can stop. Nobody's forcing you anymore. You're free. Ymir watches someone with absolute power choose restraint over dominance. She sees Eren value his friends more than godlike destruction. After 2 millennia of serving people who only took from her, she finally witnesses someone refusing to abuse the power she offers. That breaks something fundamental inside her. She realizes her devotion to Fritz was never love, just trauma she mistook for loyalty. Ymir lets go. The path's connection dissolves, and the Titan curse ends immediately. Every Titan shifter loses their powers at once. Eren, Armin, Reiner, Annie, Pieck, the 13-year death sentence just disappears. Any pure Titans still existing anywhere revert to human form. The Age of Titans ends because Ymir finally chose herself. Paradise now faces a different problem. Their ultimate weapon just vanished. The rumbling can't be used as a deterrent anymore. The smart move is keeping this secret as long as possible while leveraging the fear for diplomatic wins. By the time the truth leaks years later, Paradis has already secured enough treaties that invading becomes politically messy instead of an obvious choice. 3 years after the defensive rumbling, a smaller coalition tests Paradis again. They're gambling that Eren was bluffing, or that Paradis won't actually defend itself a second time. They're wrong on both counts. With advanced technology, alliances with Hizuru and other nations, plus military training that's now world-class, Paradis crushes the invasion without any Titans. Reiner and the former warriors fight alongside the Survey Corps, which sends a powerful message to anyone still doubting that coexistence works. The cost needs to be said clearly, though. Thousands died in Liberio. Tens of thousands more drowned when colossal Titans destroyed that first invasion fleet. Eren has serious blood on his hands. The world hasn't forgiven Eldians for existing. This timeline doesn't end with everyone becoming friends and singing campfire songs together. But compare thousands dead to billions. Compare it to Eren becoming the monster Marley always claimed he was. Compare it to his best friends having to kill him just to save whatever scraps of humanity remained. This version trades catastrophic genocide for brutal but limited warfare. That's a massive improvement, even if it's not perfect. Eren lives with the weight of everyone he killed. He has nightmares about soldiers drowning as their ships were crushed. He knows he chose violence when maybe a more peaceful option existed somewhere. But he's alive to process that guilt, instead of dying as history's worst mass murderer. That matters. Mikasa actually gets a future with Eren instead of having to decapitate him. Armin becomes Paradise's chief diplomat, negotiating with nations instead of nuking his best friend's founding Titan. Historia rules a nation that's isolated but sovereign, dangerous enough that invasion is stupid. Jean and Connie explore the world they fought to reach without walking through graveyards. Sasha lives. Painji lives. The Survey Corps won freedom without losing their souls in the process. Gabby and Falco grow up watching Marley slowly change its Eldian policies because Paradise proved the propaganda wrong. The progress is frustrating and slow, filled with backsliding and resistance. But it's actual progress. Kids on both sides of the ocean get childhoods instead of being casualties. The hatred between Eldians and the rest of humanity doesn't magically disappear. Discrimination continues. Some nations refuse any contact with Paradise for decades, but trade routes open up. Diplomatic channels exist. A new generation grows up with the possibility of something better than their parents had. This is the realistic ending Attack on Titan should have gotten. Eren achieves freedom for Paradise through strength and calculated restraint instead of mindless destruction. His friends don't have to stop him because he never becomes the villain. The themes about breaking cycles of violence actually mean something because the cycle gets disrupted through choice rather than near total extinction. Paradise survives, Eren lives, and humanity gets a chance to slowly unscrew itself over generations, instead of being flattened in a week. If you enjoyed our video today, subscribe to our channel